Alright, I'm about to check this game out for the first time. Vagrus, the Riven Realms. Key was given to me by the developers. There's the prologue to the game. The game's gonna come out pretty soon. This is the prologue to it. Let's check it out, see what's up with this game. Start a new game here. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of the colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Ah, yes. A Vagrus. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagrus too, are you not?
Yes, I am.
Many of your kind have I seen in my long life as a vagabond. Care to listen to a story about your exquisite occupation, good master? It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
Tell us the tale.
Wise you are, good master. My tale is of a Vagrus, such as yourself, but one whose fate was cursed and wrought with ill fortune. It all happened a long time ago. 10 years, maybe more. I was but a passenger, traveling rough roads and forgotten ways with this comitatus, south along the feet of the great mountains of the west.
Does this comitatus I speak of had fallen under hard times? Perhaps it was due to imperial harassment, or unfortunate decisions, or simply bad luck. Eraphon, saint of roads, does not always smile on us mere mortals, but however it came to pass, their coin was drying up, and their opportunities seemed few and far between. One of the last chances their Vagrus saw was to travel to the remote town of Scrap Heap and spend the remaining funds to stock up on cheap scrap metal. This metal could be sold for great profit over in the east and south. It wasn't a bad plan, truly, but it was not without risk either. Here we go. Welcome to the prologue of Vagrus, the Riven Realms. Serves as an introduction to the settings and also a tutorial of the game. It behooves you to read the tutorial text and follow the instructions to gain a better understanding of how the game works. Note that although Vagrus is an open world game, due to the prologue being a tutorial, it progresses along a narrow guided path in the beginning and opens up only later after the core mechanics have been introduced. A campaign map, your comitatus traveling company, always occupies a node and moves between nodes through paths. Moving along paths costs movement points. We have 10 out of 10 in the upper left, indicated next to each path. And it shows you path takes 3, 4, 3, 3 to move. Every in-game day you have a number of movement points to spend before you decamp. To move, click on a nearby node and select move from the radial menu. You can select a node that is farther away. The MP cost of moving there will be calculated and the path highlighted. Move to the neighboring node now. Having gone ahead of the column with a handful of scouts, you watch from a ridge as your comitatus slowly trudges along, making its way ponderously among dormant geysers and broken terrain. All around you the hills smolder lazily in the perpetual twilight. Are you alright? Travik's voice resonates sympathy as it appears next to you on the ridge. You nod slowly, but do not look at him, your gaze lost in the distance where ash cloaks the horizon and the towering mountains to the south and west. Turning to your comms, you note his supportive smile. You and Jacob have been traveling around the realms together for years now. There's no other person in the world you trust more than you trust him, except, perhaps, yourself. I know you feel constrained, but I still feel like I said before, you made the right choice by leading us here. Then I have to make a choice. Time will tell, but I still have my doubts. If there isn't much of a choice, it has to work. We cannot fail, not like this. Thank you, but the last thing I need right now is a clumsy pep talk. Reading this. 3. You glance at Jacob and notice the worried look he's giving you. You turn away back towards the horizon. No reason to be crestfallen yet. You just stick to the plan. Why should it not work? You know that there could be hundreds of reasons, but do not feel like reminding him. Yes, the plan may work, yes. The crew? Hearing your voice betraying. Yes. Plan. You talked to your traveling company into this a few weeks ago, but with each step towards the western mountains, more and more of them started to have doubts, such as the way to the road, perhaps. The plan involves a desperate attempt at squeezing a low selling price for metal bits out of an old contact of yours in the town of Scrap Heap. Stocking up on said metal by spending the rest of your coin and bringing the cargo down south along the Molten Tongue to Devon via Avernum and Ash. There's a shortage of metal in Devon, and you know several buyers who would give a pretty price for your goods if you can only make it there before many others with a similar cargo do. Such contacts are the boon of decades spent on the road. But even if Narbo, that villain, gave you an agreeable price in the scrap heap, the road is not without its risks. Sneaking through the gap between the dead forest and the molten tongue is inviting disaster. So it's not a course many Vagri would take. And of course, if this fails, you have utterly run out of alternatives. I think Narbo will help us. The old scavenger was never famous for his goodwill. Uh, let's find a way to compel him. What happened? He chose it. Chose it, damn you. When the text in the event is highlighted pale blue, it means if you have found a codex entry. Clicking on such text opens the codex and navigates you to the entry. Oh, that's why. I was gonna do that anyway. Like scrap heap. Codex is a collection of entries you have found throughout your travels and events. Entries contain information about the world and its inhabitants. Each time there are unread entries, the crystal of the cover of the codex emanates light. Entries are displayed in a list on the left. You can search entries and filter them by categories using the actions on the top left. Unread entries have a blue icon and appear on the top, while already read entries have a gold icon. The text on the selected entry appears on the right. Information in the codex is supplementary. It is there for those who wish to learn more about the Riven realms. You can close the codex now and continue your journey. You can open it again by clicking on the book in the bottom right corner. Chose this. Says these are dark times and call of desperate needs, but such thoughts make me really uncomfortable, to be honest. Javik rubs his chin absent-mindedly. You see this expression of his too often not to realize he's using his sorcerer's talent to read your mind. Get out of my head, you know the rules. Apologies. Javik quickly rubs his eyes and looks away briefly. You know how it is. It comes to me so naturally that sometimes I don't notice I'm doing it. Your thoughts were loud, Vagrus. I have to actually block them, you see. But joining your comitatus 6 years ago, Javik proved to be an invaluable asset. Not only does he sense moods and thoughts around him, he's able to subtly manipulate others when he focuses his inner energies. Comes very handy when doing business. Then there's his other perks. A few times you saw him shatter the minds of men and beasts who tried to kill him. Not a pretty sight, but a very effective deterrence. Yet, because he's not a trained sorcerer, at least not in the traditional sense, his abilities are sometimes difficult to control. You become accustomed to his impromptu thought scans, while others find it less bearable to be around him. For this reason, he has kept his abilities a secret for many years overall, but you can't keep a secret such as this in the close-knit community of a comitatus, especially not if you keep bursting minds and doing things you shouldn't. So there are only a handful of your coms who put up with being near him for long. But even so, he hasn't probed your mind in years, certainly not on purpose, but neither by accident. Perhaps he's less in control now, which suggests he's more on edge about this whole trip, and he lets it show. Apology accepted. Both you walked out of the comitatus and joined the column. As we were coming up the gates of Scrap Heap, this trash pile town of cutthroats and scavengers, you can see the vast mountain ranges shattered to Vendar Thar, looming ominously over the horizon, half shrouded in the gaseous vapors belched forth by the volcanoes in the far west. The companions prepared to do their business in town as fast as they could, not wishing to tarry about in this notorious place. Yeah, the writing's pretty in depth in this thing. Whoever was writing this knows what they're doing. It's a nice big vocabulary. The foot of the ever-fuming mountains of the ancient Dwarven kingdom lies scrap heap. A ton of scavengers. Debris and junk is piled into veritable hills upon which the rickety homes of the decrepit inhabitants stand. Ash lingers everywhere and the sun is almost always absent from the twilight skies. Deals are struck day and night over the precious metal scraps gathered in the ruins of nearby Vendar Thar, while the Heap King oversees all from his dreaded tower. Soot-covered faces watch from under ash-laden awnings. Life is cheaper than iron here, some say. There's stories. Track down Narbo. Can be convinced to help you out, maybe? When a comitatus enters a settlement, you can select from a variety of options, each on its separate pane, revolving around resting, resupplying, and trading, as well as the opportunity to initiate stories located in the settlement. Hey, what happened to you? Let's see what you're trying. This time only the story pin is active. Follow the only available story. Track down Narbo. You make your way to the Wraith's Stash, a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street just behind the imposing tower of the Heap King, but not quite under its immense shadow. Not many frequent the establishment, which makes it perfect for Narbo and his little operation of honest merchants. Apparently the knave is not only alive, but has done well for himself in the past decade or so. Taking only Jacob, you leave the comitatus to the care of Titus, your quartermaster, while you're gone negotiating. Ash is flitting from the black sky as you cross the street and nod to the bouncer of the Wraith's Stash. You give him your sidearms quietly. Rules are rules, at least as long as they can enforce it. Yet they have the courtesy of allowing you to keep your dagger, and of course they have no idea what Jacob is capable of should it come to a scuffle. Not that you expect such a thing, but with Narbonne, one never knows. Though you've told your crew that him and you go way back, the entrepreneur is a capricious, and manipulative man with whom you did not part on the best of terms last time. Does you remember that? Surely. Could he be persuaded to take your proposal? Who knows? Your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern's interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminates the common room. What? Shadowy faces turn toward you and observe you through the thick smoke. Mama's here? Where? Get her! The bartender, a thick-set man in a dirty tunic, is chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs the skeleton of a large heap lizard on display. Narbo is sitting at a table in the back, his bodyguard half hidden in the darkness at the wall behind him. Oh crap. Make your way confidently over to Narbo, walk over the bar, sit down at one of the vacant tables. Says the entrepreneur looks up from a stack of papers in front of him and rubs his eyes. Narbo is a corpulent man with a bushy dark beard and a few missing teeth. Part of his face is covered in scars similar to those left by old burns. That, coupled with the withered and mutated left arm that hangs limp at his side, is a clear indication of the taint. The merchant wears a leather jerkin studded with small bronze and bone coins, a sign of wealth and boldness. His bodyguard, a lean man with tribal tattoos and an outfit made of leather straps, moves his hand calmly to a spear that leans against the wall. Narbo's mouth falls open as the spark of recognition flares up in his eyes. No wonder it's been 10 years. The fuck, mate? He blinks. I thought you croaked. People, Narbo waves his good hand around and looks at his bodyguard. Told tales of your demise. The man finishes the sentence for him as the merchant nods vehemently. That business with the Kernak house and the storm, Narbo adds. You tell him that you were indeed at Kernak when the terrible arcane storm struck. You describe the horrors of that night briefly. You add how many of your original comitatus died there, close friends, old traveling companions. But you walked away unscathed. This was years ago. Sheesh, that fucker Iron Fawns looked after you something fierce, eh? Narbo chuckles heartily. Sure you haven't come to reminisce about good old times, eh? His predatory smile makes you cautious, even though he invites you to sit down with a casual wave of his meaty hand. You'll apologize to him, get down to business, remind him how you don't like threats, especially not insinuated ones. Well, wow, looks like you're still tough as Zern shit. We paranoid too. Says nobody was making no threats. Narbo flashes a cruel grin. I was merely referring to the way you scrammed the last time we saw each other. There's a long pause as Narbo and his man pierce you with their gazes. You have to say something. Apologize now. As far as I can tell, you never did anything against me, eh? Narbo shrugs with a wry smile. Of course you could have sent someone to warn us. The bodyguard finishes the sentence. Back when Narbo and you parted ways, the Avernum Collegium was hot on your trails. They got offended by how you two outplayed them by smuggling in a shipment of exotic spices without their knowledge and selling it to a local nobleman's merchant house. You look at Narbo and tell him there was no way of warning him or even knowing where he was after the chaos hit following the heist in Avernum. You had to get your crew out of there, so you did. The merchant's thoughtfully fiddling with a stack of papers right by his earthenware coffee cup while listening to you. I appreciate you coming clean, even if this starry business was so many years ago, he says. After a long pause, the bodyguard becomes visibly less tense. Something tells me that ain't all you came for, so what is it? And you can look up all the keywords, stuff like that. Filter it out. You breathe in, timed out on your proposition. Some choices have dependencies, meaning you can only pick certain choice if you have the right prerequisite perks, companions, resources, journal entries, and so on. Some choices involve tests that can be failed or succeeded with different consequences. Perks, characters, and resources can change the chance of success in tests. Test difficulties are presented by a number between 1 and 100 that you need to roll equal to or below. tell him that you'll be in his debt. He'll make a tiny profit as it is, but you'll owe him a favor, high chance of success. Remind him that you two used to make a great team and this could rekindle that partnership, low chance of success. Feel that you're in a bad spot and it's your last chance. Or you could have got this, let him know in exchange for his help, you'll help him out with a problem he might have right now. Don't say quality, Narbo's secret. You can't do that one, right? Some kind of dependency. How do you get that? I don't think you go back to the book right now, right? Secret? Fireball. I don't know. I thought that it'd be in there or something. Like that. Test success 37 to 70. Suppose you don't plan on croaking just so I can't collect the said debt. Narbo's chuckle turns into a short wheezing cough. Alright, well, I know you to be a man of your word, and we used to run together, so I know you're good, but just to be clear, you do owe me for this, and I'll collect. I'll collect right now, in fact. You headed to Devon by the way of Avernum, eh? When you nod, Narbo leans closer and signals his bodyguard. The man with the dreadlock steps closer and carefully produces a small packet from beneath his leather jerkin, then puts it in the merchant's palm. This here little fella is mighty important to me, see? If you take this out our city and deliver it to my associate in Avernum or even, you get your discount scrap from me. The merchant offers you the package. Javik draws in breath, but before he could speak, Narbo interrupts him. And before pretty boy here asks, no, I won't tell you what's in it, and don't even think about opening the package. What I can say is it ain't dangerous to you itself, but you might want to keep it hidden from the damn militia of good old crap heap. Take the package. The way Narbo stares at you makes it clear you have no other choice. This might just be the opportunity you hope for. Package small enough to fit in your palm, feels very light and is wrapped in fine leather. You pocket it after briefly observing it. Says you'll be looking for a man named Scornarn Avernum. He ain't to be trifled with either. Just tell him I sent you and you'll be fine. You can find him or his men in Landvinus, watering hole most of the time. Give this little fella to him and to him only, understand? After you assure him you do, Narbo instructs you to give him an hour, then look for his people at the market and simply introduce yourself. They'll know what price on the metal scraps they should give you by then. He motions to his man. You and Javik stand up, make ready to leave. Ravir will take you to the back exit. We don't want to give people the idea they can come here to beg for almonds now, do we? Or anyone to connect us and run the militia for that matter. So you got what you came for, so you leave the Wraith's stash to the back entrance, head back to the Comitatus. Your journals become active at the bottom left corner. It's your means to follow stories and tasks. Open your journal now by clicking on the book at the bottom left corner. There's this. Now that's it. The journal allows you to view your quests, tasks, and other related information. You can search for entries, the search field, and filter them. Drop down filter buttons for better viewability on the top left. A list of entries can be seen on the left. There are two types of entries, objectives and qualities. Objectives are your quests and tasks. The text of a selected list item appears on the right. These give a description of the quest or task and provide active objectives. Unread entries have a blue exclamation mark icon and appear on top, while already read entries have a gold dot active, green mark completed, or red cross circle failed icons. Qualities are the qualities of the comitatus or the leader currently has. They can be statuses, gathered information, rumors, and so on. Unread entries have a blue exclamation mark icon and appear on top. Already read entries have a gold circle icon. Close your journal after checking your objectives. Buy at least 40 metal at the market. Deliver this to a man named Scornar in Averno. The market pane is now active. Navigate to the market pane by clicking on the scales icon. The market pane displays the available goods you can buy at the settlement's market. On the top right opens your cargo pane. What? On the top right and opens your cargo pane on the left. You can buy goods from the market or sell your own goods from the cargo hold here. When buying or selling, buy or sell one increment only by clicking on the buy or sell button listed next to the good. Holding shift, clicking the buy and sell buttons buys or sells a whole stack respectively. Drag and drop the icon for buying or selling stacks of goods. Holding shift and clicking the icon opens a window where you can specify the quantity you wish to buy or sell. Purchase at least 40 scrap metal. Recommend getting supplies for 10 to 12 days as well before you leave scrap heap. What is this, 55 scrap metal? What is that? You wanted me to buy 40 of that, right? At least 40 metal at the market. But I have a bunch of that crap now. Stacks of supplies. But one more stack of that just in case I gotta buy more. I have a good amount of money. Medical supplies. Cargo equipment. What the point of buying that is, but I bought it. Equipment you own are in a pool below the Comitatus illustration. In order to gain their bonuses, you need to equip them first by dragging and dropping them into an appropriate slot on the illustration. Equipment can only be placed in a slot that matches its type, except that equipment of any type can be placed in the miscellaneous slot. You can unequip equipment by dragging it back to the list. Equip the awnings on your Comitatus. How does it go? There. Items, the third type of cargo, do not take up cargo space and are not equipable. They are used and traded in certain events. You can switch pane in the settlement, and the active pane will open the corresponding pane of the Comitatus management on the left. You can now freely check the settlements tab. When you are done exploring, click on the arch icon on the bottom right to leave scrap heap. Once you leave, you cannot come back in this place in the prologue, so be sure to do everything you want to do before venturing forth. What else can you do? Buy a bunch of shit. Buy all the scrap you had. Buy a bunch of supplies. Go here. The hell? Walking up to the great heap to the immense tower is a daunting task. Up on the hill, it's even more difficult to breathe than an ash-choked city at its feet. A hot wind blows from the south. Every step is slow torture. By the time you reach the gates of the tower, your chest is heaving and you keep coughing up soot. Before you rise is the tower of the Heap King, ruler of this trash pile of a town. Whole structures cobbled together from scrap. The lower level is covered in metal sheets. A huge bonfire of yellow-white flame burns on the top level. Day and night, a beacon for the scavenging team to follow home. Looking nigh impregnable, the fortress has only one entrance. A small group of guards sneer malevolently at you as you approach. Better turn back if you have no business here, vagabond, the ranking gatekeeper says from under a mask attached to his bronze skullcap. Perhaps you could try licking my arsehole. See what it gets you. Oh shit, you asked him how to get in, and that's what he said. One of the guards says that loud. A round of applause and guffaws follows. Guffaws. The ranking guard does not laugh, but has nothing to reprimand them either. My duty is to stop anyone without official business to enter, not to educate them where to get a pass, he says and walks back to the others. Nothing will change your mind, you walk down the hill. Yeah! Stroll through the markets. You and Jack have roamed the dingy market district right below the great heap upon which the tower of the Heap King is built. Ash-covered awnings and dirty stalls line the labyrinthine streets, smotheringly narrow alleys and tiny squares in between them. Sometimes it's difficult to tell a shop from a dilapidated scrap home, and for a good reason. Most people who live here are also merchants to some extent. And even though the Heap King's militia is there to keep the peace, you can't help but notice all the shifty gazes from the deplorable types aimed at you. Take a look at the local prices and goods. You remember a little shop with dwarven curiosities hidden in an alley from years ago? Perhaps it's still there. Leave the market. Let's try this dwarven place. The small shop is still there at the end of a serpentine alley opening from a tucked away square on the south side of the market district. Standing outside of it, you notice how it's in a much worse shape than you remember. Inside the decrepit scrap shack is an equally unkempt young fellow who hails you with a jolly smile. The shop looks empty. A short conversation reveals that he's the son of the man who used to run the place. His father never came back from a forage into the dwarven ruins a month ago. Fortunately, I don't have Dad's expertise on dwarves. Neither am I the adventurous sort, so by now I've sold all his remaining stock and I'm closing shop soon. Then I'm off and away for Crap Heap for good. Go south maybe to the Dragonlands, he says, scratching his beard. They talk a bit about dwarven culture and his father's obsession with their forgotten technological wonders. You're about to say goodbye when he slaps his forehead. I still have something here with a Vagrus such as yourself might be interested in. He fetches a small brass compass out of his pocket and hands it to you. It's masterwork, no doubt, sporting the runes and detailed etchings on the sides. So we need to sell it to you for a token price. Bye. You and Jack have roamed the dingy market district right below the great heap, upon which I probably could have told him I can't buy it and he would have given it to me out of pity, who knows. Let me take a look at this. They're spending an hour looking over wares in the market, you realize there's nothing there you'd fork out coin for. The veritable army of cut purses working in the market. Alright, let's get out of here then. Spend the night with within a guarded compound. It's not for free though. Big. Plus 1 day, -1 brass. Set out at dawn. Ash is flitting from the sky and the distant mountains rumble ominously in the morning twilight as you Comitatus reaches the west gate of the town. Almost immediately you notice that guardsmen and militia at the gates are working in groups, questioning and inspecting travelers. Move along towards the inspection. Even if they're looking for the package Narble gave you, you realize there is a minuscule chance of finding it among several departing caravans, all made up of dozens of people respectively. Besides, the packet is tiny and well hidden at the bottom of a sack of dried mushrooms. A robed magistrate of the Heap King appears to coordinate the search effort, picking out people or whole traveling groups for inspection. As your commandant draws near, it takes only a passing glance from him to appraise you and your crew before he motions to the guards to let you through. You quietly pass under the gate and out into the broken wastelands. The Comitatus is well on its way, and Scrap Heap is a mere dot on the horizon. By the time Jakov joins you at the front of the line. Just like I said, you made the right choice with this venture. Talk of how you may have saved us all is spreading like wildfire, he says with a faint smile. Of course, if we do have to make it alive all the way to Devon without the cargo, oh no, we do have to make it. But it's a good start, don't you think? Nod to him. Agreed, there may be hope left for the Comitatus after all. Agreed, there may be hope for the Comitatus after all. And, you know, it's in a large part thanks to you and your abilities, not mine. Turn away and walk lower. Let's just tell him that. Jacob smiles as he bows his head and thanks. Not that I fully agreed, but it's my pleasure to be of use. And I'm sure the journey will be fine. It's not like we started with this business yesterday. With that, you both go back to your own duties and the constant monitoring of the horizon. If all goes well, you reach the wound in a few days, where you can turn south along the edge of the molten tongue and travel down to Avernum. The journey continues. There's +3 morale, +1 vigor. End. In the prologue, your progress is saved at checkpoints, like it has just been saved now. Also, whenever you leave a settlement, an autosave occurs, overwriting the previous settlement save. Another autosave occurs with each in-game new day, overwriting the previous day's save. You can load your save games from the game menu, escape or F10, or from the main menu. Hold any key. That tells you down here, left settlement, checkpoint, checkpoint. Save game, save game. I'm gonna hold the key. There they were with a full cargo hold and filled with newfound hope. Yet the road ahead still promised hardships and peril. I traveled with them southwards, expecting to reach more habitable lands beyond the molten tongue's rivers of lava. Now I can move some more spots. Game is saved. Let's go. You move 12 spots. 3, 6, 9, 12. 1, 2, 3, all the way over here. Go. Click on the sheet in the top left corner to open it. Here. The crew management window allows you to manage your comitatus. Morale is the general mood of your comitatus, ranging from 1 to 9. Low morale applies penalties to MPs and tests and events. If it ever drops to 1, there's a chance comitatus dissolves and you lose the game. You can see the current effects of your morale below the rating. There's crew morale steady 6. Vigor indicates how tried the comitatus is. Low vigor results in penalties on tests, and then a drastically slower comitatus which can spell doom quite fast. You can see the current effect of your vigor below the rating, and it says well rested. Hold any key. Upkeep is how much you owe your crew. You can pay them at the end of each day, or keep collecting debt. Consumption is how many supplies your crew consumes each day. Running out of supplies leads to a quick death in the wastelands. Passengers or people your comitatus takes to a destination for rewards. You can take on passengers in some events and settlements. They also consume supplies. The lizard icon. What, this up here? Wandering old man passenger. Do you have that? Just hold a key. Here you can see the number of each crew and beast type you have in your comitatus. Consult the tooltip for each type to learn more about their role. Outriders are special because you need a fighter and a mount to be able to create an outrider by using the plus button. While outriders are excellent fighters, mounts without riders carry cargo. You can always dismount fighters using the minus button. For now, add an outrider, then close the window by clicking the X. Then one outrider. Mounted fighter, exceptionally good when attacking, created by mounting a fighter on a mount. Let's just close that. Why did I go all the way over here? You run out of movement points and need to camp, ending the day. Being on the road all day, spending most of your MPs lowers the vigor of your comitatus that you can replenish by camping. You can also camp earlier than running out of MPs, which helps raise vigor faster. Select the camp icon tent from the radio menu of the node you currently occupy. Oh, we click here, camp for the night. At the end of each in-game day, the comitatus makes camp and settles down for the night. Supplies are consumed And movement points are refreshed after camping. The summary of what happened to your crew that day can be seen in the top right, listing the changes. You have the option to give out less or more supplies under rations, which penalizes or boosts vigor and morale. So respectively, starving your crew will have long-term negative effects as well, but it may be necessary sometimes to save rations. Each day you can decide to offer normal or double wages for the current day, independent of whether you pay them or not. Double payment increases morale. You can also choose to pay all your debt to your crew at this time. Pay now or accrue payments, which means pay later. The longer you delay, the grumpier they will get. You can also talk to your companions and heal them using the icons beneath the portraits. Additionally, you can set your defense orders for the night. A more lenient defense has a higher risk of a nighttime ambush, but will lead to a well-rested crew. When you have everything set up, click the end day button. This will sometimes trigger camp events. Let's put pay now. Normal rate. Oh, you put double. Make them happier. Talk to companion. Heal. Why does she need to be healed? The mercenary is discussing something with some of the scouts. When you approach them, she sees you and immediately steps away from her company, joining you next to a tent in the shadows. You immediately feel a bit anxious, as if roused out of a torpor by Tarkian coffee. The effects of the proximity of demonkin for sure. Anything I can do for you? Was this Jacob required? Jacob is someone I did not trust. He can read people's thoughts, they say, but he's always been kind to everyone, and he knows his way around beasts. Glad he's traveling with us. Is there anything else you wanted? That's what she thinks about the comitatus. The things that everyone does what they are supposed to. We can deal with most problems in our own way. There is a moment of silence and you realize she's done talking about this. Enough. This guy. Stories and alignment. The package. Ask what he thinks about Narvo's package. Ask what he thinks of Avernum. And about what you can expect there. The resident, your friend, was really concerned to get it out of the scrap heap with no one the wiser. With no one the wiser. To get it to this man in Avernum. But we don't plan on opening the damn thing. We're in enough of a predicament. The end of the day. Got triggered. Over here. Camp. Putting that there. After a long day's march under the bleak skies and harassed by hot winds, Comitatus finally settled down in a wide ravine and taking care of the camp chores. After taking care of the camp chores and checking on all your comes, you yourself go to the tent and tuck in for the night. There are benefits to sleeping out in the wastelands. The silence is quite calming, tranquil even. Only the murmur of the distant fire bletching mountains, the whisper of the wind, and the occasional groans of your beasts can be heard, except something's making a muffled noise you don't recognize. Your eyes flicker open, there's something wrong. What in Tartarus is that? Is it now? You rise and check it out. Leaving your tent and passing the sleeping beasts, you're just about to call to a guard when you stumble upon a large quadrupedal creature with fused bone protrusions. It is munching on supplies scattered across the ground, evidently from a torn open sack lying nearby. The creature is a Jakra, a wasteland scavenger that hunts in packs. Before you can utter a word, the monster charges you. And in a shadow, Morwen leaps at it, tackling it aside, cutting its hide in her bone axe. A follow-up swing. Cutting her hide with her bone axe. You breathe out, realizing how she probably saved your life. Javik runs up to you, just as the creature backs off, letting out a long howl. There's more of these accursed things, boss. They must have sneaked into the camp past the perimeter guards. We are fighting them and chasing them off, he blurts out. As he does, you can hear yelling and the sounds of a battle from around camp. The wounded Jakra is joined by another one from behind a cargo pile, and the two of them start circling you. Javik steps beside Morwen as they get ready for the fight. Alright, now you get to go to battle here. Companion combat is turn-based, where 1 to 6 enemies fight against your team of 1 to 6 companions. You can use the skills of your companions to defeat your enemies, protect your companions, and set yourself up in an advantageous positions on the combat board. Companion combat is made up of rounds. Each round, all the participants take turns to act, and when everyone has had their turns, the current round ends and a new round is started. It's not until either your companions or the enemies are defeated. Combat board is divided into 2 sides. Left friendly side where your companions and occasional allies are, and the right side where your enemies are. Both sides have a maximum of 6 combatants. Each side has a front row, melee row, and a back row called the range row. Each row has 3 positions. Certain skills can only be used when standing in position in the appropriate row. Click for combat to begin. Begin! Round 1. Jakra begins its turn. The order in which combatants receive their turns is according to their initiative INI stat. At the beginning of each round, all active combatants add 1 to 6 random to their INI to determine in what order they will progress through the round, starting from the highest INI. The INI order top left shows its initiative order, shows the order in which combatants receive their turn. Wise leaders use this information to plan ahead. Hold any key. Gonna be the monster, my 2 guys, and then the monster. Whoa! Maul inflicts 2 damage to Jacob. Morwen begins her turn. Melee skills can only be used from the front row. They can only target front row enemies that are adjacent to the attacker's position or back row enemies if no front row enemy blocks them. Because of these rules, positioning in melee is paramount. All characters can move. Footprint icon bottom to any adjacent position on their own side. If they move into a position that is occupied by another character, the character is pushed out of the position it occupies and has to be moved into an adjacent free position, even if the position the other character is just left. Not only do characters in the front row prevent melee attacks against characters directly behind them, but also make them more difficult to hit with certain range skills, those that have line of sight property. When you want to move, select the move icon in the target position by clicking on it and then confirm with a second click. Move Morwen in the front of Jacob to protect him. Just move here. Each companion has 4 combat skills besides move, represented by the row of icons below their name on the character information bar. When you select a skill, its stats are displayed below the skill icons. You can select skills or move by clicking on them or pressing the number 1 to 5. Selected skills are highlighted as they're all available targets for the selected skill. Skill details can be viewed in the information sheet on the bottom left after a skill is chosen. The art and stuff look cool in the combat. Use Mind Blast skill 1 to attack one of your opponents. Select skill 1, select the available target position, click again to confirm. So just press 1. Let me hit this guy first. Mind Blast! They have like funny looking art, it's nice. Not funny looking, it's actually cool looking. Morwen's skills include options to push front row enemies back, called Savage Kick, and to pull back row enemies to the front Whiplash. Some skills are more complex, for example, including a move and an attack strafe. These types of skills can be used to great effect in controlling your enemies. Use Morwen's Savage Kick skill 2 to send the Jakra enemy to the back row, denying it an attack. Select skill 2 and attack. So I just press 2 on my mouse. Looks like it's skill 3 though. That's it, select skill 2, right? Use Morwen's Savage Kick skill 2, but it's skill 3 here. Screen that as a bug. In a second, let me see if I can post that fast. So I'm doing this, testing this out. This. Alright, I reported that bug. Now let me cook that thing in the head. You consult the combat log. The sheet at the mid bottom. Anytime to see what exactly occurred. The log is scrollable, but if you wish to see more of it, click it to open it fully. It can be closed by clicking it again. The character sheet can be opened by clicking its icon. 3 lines at the portrait. You can see all the combat relevant stats of the active companion there and consult the tooltips to learn more. The forfeit button, bent arrow icon. The character's portrait allows you to pass your current turn. Beat your enemies. Evade. Block. Shows his character sheet. Premonition. Caster and a single ally receive initiative, defense bonus, and accuracy. Gnosis. Mind Blast. Pressing this. What did I do? I just commanded it. And I pushed it back where I wanted. Okay, you move forward anyway. Now this will move forward to attack me. She has strafe, hit 2 enemies for moderate damage, then move to the side. Savage kick, whiplash, devastating blow. Move. Let's hit that thing. It hurt. There's this premonition move, so you should be able to go faster. And evade stuff. Okay, now Mind Blast. Crit him as we've been buffed. On me, bastard. Ah shit, the other one. Ouch. Mind Blast. It's dead. Keeps mauling me. It's finish it. Devastating blow! Should be dead. Victory! The two Jakra that lie dead at your feet. Morwen wipes the foul-smelling blood from her axe blade as the guard arrives and talks to her. You okay, boss? Jacob pats you on the shoulder. You nod, turning to Morwen as she approaches you. All hostiles taken care of, she says. They got some of the food, but we could take their meat and parts to make up for it. Harvest it, or just let's go back to it. Harvest the meat. Harvest the damn critters. Got 90 supplies, 2 ivory, and 5 beast hides. End of the day. We can move 14. Move 11. Your chart is now active. Open up by clicking the chart in the top right corner. The chart is your tool in navigating the wastelands of Zern. Planning out journeys, you can move around by holding left mouse button. Moving the mouse, you can zoom in the mouse wheel. Comitatus is represented by a red banner, which is right here. Any discovered settlement or point of interest can be marked by clicking on the icon and choosing mark in the bottom left box, which highlights them on the chart. You also have the option to navigate the codex from the box. Mark that place because we've been there. Codex. Charts in your tool and navigating the wasteland. Oh yeah, I already read that. Mark Avernum south of you on the chart. Mark that. Then close chart up here. Keep on going. Forced march allows you to move further than your maximum movement points in a given day. Forced march movement uses marching MP is indicated next to your MP is. It says 8 out of 8 in the upper left in red. Marching along paths and it costs is indicated by red on the campaign map. Although forced marches get you further, use them carefully. Your crew loses vigor and even morale rapidly if you march too often without extra resting. We strongly suggest refraining from frequent forced marches until you have more experience. High vigor, morale, and well-supplied comitatus are required for forced marches to have less negative impact. Corner key. I'm gonna camp here. Can't even pay these people anymore. Let's just go far now. As the comitatus is getting another stretch of black and sand dunes. One of the outriders you had sent out to screen your left flank rides in on the line and heads immediately to you. You can see the man in a panic right away from the way he hops off the saddle while decelerating and almost falls over. Before he reaches you, your guardsmen are already setting up a defensive perimeter to the east. You beckon to the beast drivers to halt the line. Vagrus, they're coming! Saw them walking over the dunes. The pilgrims are coming. A murmur of terror washed over the comitatus. Clearly your scout was referring to the last pilgrimage. This group's spectral horrors are known to appear out of nowhere and eradicate even large groups of travelers in a matter of minutes. Nobody quite knows what reckless people were reportedly able to take a peek at the otherworldly wayfarers, but during your many years as a Vagrus you have never met any such person whose story was credible. You know all too well that if your outrider tells the truth, you see no reason why he wouldn't. The only chance of survival is for all of you to run or to hide. find a place you can hide. Outriders, you had sent westward report that there's a rocky area not far away. After heading west for a quarter an hour in great haste, the Comitatus finds a stretch of badlands crisscrossed by shallow ravines. The jagged tall rock formations here are half covered in the fine black sand of Arenas Negras. Already the scouts are busy setting up hiding places among the rocks and gullies. In a matter of minutes you're all up behind cover. Everyone settles down and either prays to whatever gods they believe in or prepare for a desperate desperate last stand. But what about you? Perhaps there's a chance now to take a look at the last pilgrimage from up close. No, surely it would be insane to attempt such a thing. Or would it? As you're pondering this, the wind picks up from the northeast, carrying with it clouds of black dust, the perfect cover for spying. There's time before the storm hits without the brunt of its force. Hunker down with the comitatus and pray. Pilgrimage passes or creep out among the dunes under cover of the storm and try to take a peek at them. I went to look at them. It takes about 10 minutes for this feeling of what you're doing, this utter madness to settle in. By then, you and your scouts are creeping forward in the dust storm. Going is tough despite wearing hoods and scarves to protect your faces and eyes, but you make it to the dunes through which the pilgrimage is expected to move. After 10 more aggravating minutes, a dull light appears over the dunes to your left. As it gets closer, it is revealed to be a blanket of white-yellow radiance that covers a shambling semblance of sickly figures. They cross the dunes not 50 yards from where you're hiding, but due to the awful dust and the eerie light, you cannot make out much. They appear to be men of sorts, or at least humanoids, wearing long robes that remind you of old depictions of pre-calamity clergy. Some of them lean on staves. A faint chanting is in the wind, and both of you are struck by a weird sensation, like when someone steps on your grave. Strange images infringe upon you, on your peripheral visions, elusive and unformed. The otherworldly congregation passes in what feels like hours, yet only minutes have passed. It takes the dust storm with them. Wearily, you walk back to the rest of your people. Some people talk of the strange images passing before their eyes, like waking dreams, while the pilgrimage was close by. The comitatus ponderously digs itself out of the black sand and dirt. You're ready to depart in half an hour. Most of your comms are hushed and keep an eye on the horizon and you for days to come. The sooner you leave, the better. We lost morale and movement. What the hell is this? I only move one more time. Right there. And camp. That's the first hour of this game. That's all I do on my first look at games like this. And I'm doing the first time playing them. So after my first hour, the game's pretty cool if you like RPGs, text-based stuff. It has a little nice turn-based combat system to it when you get into battles. From what I can see, I'm gonna like it. The type of games that I played for many years, turn-based RPGs, and back in the day when we used to have to read everything. A lot of well-written stuff in this game. I like that you can make choices. You can kill your crew if you mess up and make the wrong choices. But that's what makes the game fun. Everyone that plays gets a different experience that way. And this is only the prologue. They said it's on Rails mostly. So when you get out of this tutorial, you can probably make a lot more choices and I maybe would have already died. Or I maybe would have found all kinds of secrets and party members and who knows what. Yeah, this game is really interesting. I'm gonna play more of the prologue later on. I'm gonna eat something now. Come back to this game soon. And I'm really looking forward to the full game as well. After I tried it here now firsthand. I'm impressed by it. Really nice looking game we have here. I'll see all you guys later. Join me again when I check out this nice game, Vagrus.